to go to. So we'll see.
Exactly. So with that, let's put up the map veto up on the board and have a quick chat about it. Again, we have removed the automatic bans. What it was before is when you play a map, each one of the teams will have that map removed for the next play day. Not the case here. And it's going to be INTZ that votes for the last map, and it's Consulate. So Villa was their last ban. Something to take in mind, I guess. FaZe Clan on Villa are a very flexible team. They actually can break the map down pretty darn decently. But they're no slouch on Consulate. But I think INTZ, as I said before, they're not a team that you can just brush over. Their performance in the first half definitely has proved a lot. But who knows? Maybe the changes that FaZe Clan made over Invitational and after Invitational, especially having now Snarfx as their coach instead of Twister, maybe this is something that, might also have a drastic effect on the game.
It is interesting, too, that INTZ would choose to go to Consulate instead of Villa, because the last time these teams fought during the first half of the pro season, it was on Consulate, and FaZe came out the victor in that. So you got to wonder if they're okay, well, we could make some changes. We learned from what we did last time, because it's not even necessarily FaZe's best map. It's definitely one that they had struggled on against other teams like Black Dragons. So it's, INTZ hoping that they've shaped things up. And like you said, that with a new coach on board, might have some new ideas for them. For example, we saw that when Bagel brought a bunch of new ideas to TSM, things like that, you could bring in a new coach, and they're going to want to make their mark as quick as possible a lot of times, depending on what they bring to the team. So we'll see. I mean, we've seen, for example, MIBR really turn things around when they brought a mental coach on board. So we'll see. But like I said, FaZe came out on top of this last time. So this could be a nice, reverse of that, which is always good because, it really kind of makes things interesting for if they end up in a head-to-head position in terms of tiebreakers, because these teams are fairly close in the standings right now.
Yeah, and how close, people that didn't really get to see the standings, FaZe Clan are 12 points, INTZ are at 11, right under them at, between third and fourth place. So yeah, it is very, very close between the two teams, and you have to keep that in mind throughout the whole tournament. If we take a look at the aggregate, they played before, and so far it was FaZe Clan that beat INTZ 7-4 in a matchup earlier in the season. So yeah, this is something to keep in mind. If you're INTZ, you might want to push forward. There's no finals for this season, but still a lot of cash to win at the end of it. Something that can definitely help you come end of this season in April. That said, I think we have our votes in, so we'll maybe try to see what people thought about all of this at home. There we go.
Again, I have a feeling it's going to be a little FaZe-sided.
Yeah, there you go. 74% FaZe. It at least comes together to 100%, right? 74, 6, and 20. It makes sense. It's logical. FaZe Clan, they still made it to Invitational. They're still a very, very strong team, one of the best in the world. But, when you have everybody that's literally the best in the world punching up together, one day might not be your best, and, well, you get knocked out.
Yeah, I mean, I'd give INTZ a little bit more credit than this, but overall, like FaZe, are such a strong team. It's definitely going to be up to INTZ to come up with something here on this map. It's at least, a well-known map. It's not like they're just jumping into theme park here on this, so they should be able to come up with something.
Yeah,
I would think.
Yeah, well, we're waiting for a game to start here in just a moment. Remember that you can go and vote on these matches and who you think is going to win directly on Twitter. So you go at ESL Rainbow Six on Twitter, vote for them before every game starts. Let us know what team you're really rooting for in this matchup. Here's your socials down below. So yeah, Devin, I know we're both holding up the game. This is usually how it happens. You forget to click S to actually start the lobby. It takes you 45 minutes. This is what happens when you get old, right?
I would know.
What do you mean? You're like 75.
I think at the moment we're just waiting on one of the players with some wire issues, so it'll just take a second here, but hopefully everyone's ready to get going. I know, it's play day 1 of the second half of the season, so everyone is like rearing to get going, I imagine. Just someone probably messed up their computer between during the gap.
I mean, look, I know everybody's excited. We're back to Latin America, explosive region, yada, yada, yada. But, everybody, sometimes some people just want to get into the game so fast as like viewers, that it's like, okay, guys, can you give it a minute? There are a lot of things that are happening in the back, and we're just waiting for them to actually materialize before we can actually get into the game. I was checking out Twitter a bit ago, and I saw that there were some posts about Consulate becoming a bit darker now. What happened?
Yeah, I didn't notice any changes in terms of you mean lighting changes, things like that.
Yeah. I think there was a quick patch that was deployed.
I mean, it wouldn't surprise me. We occasionally get real like stealth tweaks like that, and lighting changes. It's definitely one of. That's a very bright map. If you, for those of you who are old school players, you remember back in the day when you couldn't look out a window without being instantly blinded by the sun, and spawn peaks weren't much of a thing and stuff. But
when I say it got a bit darker, I mean like a lot darker. Like it's eerie levels of dark. Like
it's haunted house from theme park now.
Basically, it's a bit odd to say the least. But hey, who knows? We'll have to explore through that as we go into the game. We don't know what's changed. We don't know what's happened. So we're kind of just working with what we've got right now. Yeah, I mean, that said, I'm really happy to see what INTZ bring to the table. I really think they're going to be the big dark horse of the season for Latin America. MIBR are right below them. Everybody's trying to fight up their way. Latin America is becoming way closer at the top than it was in the past. So it's not as top heavy as, we had it even a year ago, right?
Yeah, and I mean, we have a lot of teams at the bottom that are like a lot of potential, especially teams like Team 1, that really, if they manage to fix the things that are going on, we could end up with a really highly competitive top 4. And this, I mean, the top 3, like I said, are the usual suspects, but a lot of those teams that are below that third position are really punching a bit above their weight from what they had done previously, like INTZ. I think even Singularity has an opportunity to play a little bit better. We'll see if getting the new org makes any difference in terms of how they play. Sometimes we get teams, they get a new org and all of a sudden play worse. It varies. I'm not sure how that's going to go for them. But either way, I would like to see things shake up a little bit, especially in that bottom half, kind of fight to climb up a little bit here. So at least in this case here, the first 2 matches are among the top 4. So we're going to see really probably not a ton of movement on the scoreboard during the first the first 2 matches here, other than maybe a slight shift in positions depending on who wins or if we get some draws, things like that.
If anything, FaZe Clan is the team with a lot of expectations, right, on them. So should they tie, it's not looking good because MIBR can then go up and try to tie with them points wise. If you're FaZe Clan, you're definitely trying to collect full wins and not ties. The deeper we get into the season, we always have the same question, the same thing that we repeat: never tie if you're getting closer and closer to the top. And right now there's literally like 2 points that are separating INTZ and NIP, and all between them, if you want, 3 points go between MIBR and NIP. So that's the top 5 teams in the region. It's super close right now in Latin America for sure.
Okay, well, hopefully at least things will be more shaken up by the end of the season because, like I said, the top 4 is so tightly contested, it's probably not going to change a ton other than like kind of musical chairs, but you got to keep in mind we still have a lot of play days to go. I mean, we're only going to really be running through them in 3.5 weeks in this kind of accelerated schedule we've been doing. But it's definitely going to be, an opportunity for a lot of those teams down the bottom because the gaps aren't insurmountable for some of those teams that are maybe in like 5th and 6th place to be able to climb up quite a bit. But you have to keep in mind, of course, the Latin American finals that we were going to have in Sao Paulo fortunately canceled due to the pandemic. So because of that, they are still fighting for prize money, which is going to matter quite a bit because of the way it was distributed. Basically, instead of the prize money from the event is going to go out to the top 2 teams. So there is definitely something pretty heavy to fight for here for these teams, especially teams that want to really elevate their status to better orgs or renegotiate their contracts. That kind of thing matters quite a bit.
I mean, and remember, it's not just about being in the top 2. If you're number 1, you get more cash than the second team just because of seeding. So there's something to always keep in mind. Reminder, we're just waiting on the game right now. We can't do anything about it, and we're waiting for a final player to enter. Once they're in, we can go. If not, then we'll have one of the coaches maybe try to step in. They have a couple more minutes before the time is set. And actually, I want to preface this. Right now, it's 11:15 p.m. for me in Poland, and we're in complete lockdown and have been for the past couple weeks. So I'll just let you know, I have 1 bedroom on one wall and 1 bedroom on the other, which means that I might not be able to get as excited as I would like to in pure volume this evening because I don't want to wake up my neighbors and have security get called on me at 3 in the morning and, annoy the local police force for no reason whatsoever. So, yeah, today will be a bit of a calmer day, at least on my end. This is how it's going to be basically for late night casts on my side. But when it's EU, it's kind of a bit more hands off than it would be here.
Yeah, I'll have to yell for the both of us because it's the middle of the day here. It's about 3 in the afternoon. So yeah, it's interesting being in such different regions across the board.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously we're watching Latin America while I'm in NA and you're in EU. So
yeah,
very cross-cultural here.
There's 10,000 kilometers, that's 6,000 miles that separate you and me. Production is around like 5 kilometers away from me right now. And then, Brazil is also around 8,000 kilometers away from me. That's just how the bird flies. And still we're able to sit at home and all cast it together and watch it together. This really takes me back. I mean, you remember, I used to cast Challenger League, you and I, and, even casting stuff way before that, you with the early days of LATAM PL, and well, I casted in 2012, even back in 32s and other games. So yeah, it's definitely a step back in that respect, but I'm just glad that we have a great team at ESL and Ubisoft with our production crew and also everybody at Ubisoft making sure that communication is happening around us, that we actually get to cast and get these games rolling. And speaking of which, we're actually getting into game Consulate between INTZ and FaZe Clan. And yeah, I'm pretty excited to see how this one turns out, not just because of the map itself.
Yeah, I'm definitely interested to see how these bans go in terms of we actually saw a Wumai ban yesterday from North America. So this is definitely a map that could benefit from quite a few spots where you really don't want grenades flying in, but Thatcher, not an unusual ban for Latin America. So you got to wonder, are we going to start to see Cali become a thing in Latin America because of the heavy Thatcher bans? I mean, it's not necessarily direct one-to-one replacement because it does offer quite a bit of differences in how you use it. But at the same time, it does, if you really need those walls open, it does offer some ability to do so. But at least with Consulate, the garage, there's many, many ways to clear out the utility that might be blocking you from opening without necessarily needing a Thatcher.
Yeah, I mean, right now, the entire metagame is about playing Mute Mozzie, right? So we'll see, maybe there's some ban around it. I wouldn't really expect that there's the Maestro being banned out from INTZ. And I assume that it'll be the Mira in the end.
Very likely. I mean, not the strongest map for Mir, but still a good one. Echo, though, is quite Valkyrie, a painless map.
Yeah, but this is the thing with Latin American teams. They actually will ban both. Okay, I was just going to say that usually if one is banned, they won't ban the other, but I guess.
I'd rather deal with Mira.
I get it. I mean, both operators are really strong.
The Vector just got a buff recently, too, if I remember right.
Really?
Slight buff. I believe it was a slight damage buff, if I'm remembering right. And it definitely is something that's likely to affect the play of Goyo in Latin America as well, because Latin America tends to use the Vector more than the TCSG. We are going to see likely a Wamire Clash here, because they can only 6-pick one of them here for Lobby to start off with. So, interesting choice. I could definitely see the use of Wamai, especially up in the projector meeting room, because you really are likely to get grenades to try and help clear you out from behind that table, the tipped on its side table that you're going to be playing behind to try and stop them from taking control of above. So I think that's a good choice. And the Valkyrie 6th pick as well, likely to help here to get that intel on the rappels outside, as well as just extra intel to spread across the map a little bit, because you are going to be spread out across 2 floors at the very least.
Speaking of spread it out, I just want to ask chat, what do they think the casters are wearing under all of these cameras? That's really the big question right now, Devin, I think.
Luckily, we still don't have to wear pants, so that's the important thing at the end of the day.
Thank you so much for that. I mean, you kind of ruined the surprise, Devin, but fair enough.
Well, there's still a surprise there.
Fair enough. Let's see what surprises FaZe have in store for us. Yeah, you saw they're bringing the Whammy. So my Jaeger with Mozzie and Mute and Valkyrie. Good God, this is a squishy lineup when it comes to just pure speed and armor, but man, they're gonna be zooming around the map, and they have so much utility to boot.
I think, speaking of utility, one thing that we like to tend to forget about Wamai, it's not just his utility that he brings in terms of stopping throwables, but he also brings a deployable shield. And we've seen the deployable shields become so important that Smoke was starting to bring them for some plays. So the fact that Wamai can bring them is actually pretty important, because they took them away from Jaeger. So his ability to bring deployable shields along with his throwable stopping is gone. So Wamai actually offers a nice replacement to that.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's the duo right now. Let's see how this ends up working. Alamau is already in on the Dokebi, and it's the AUG being played. That's usually what we've been seeing so far, actually, with the AUG. It's mostly that and not the MP5, right?
It's pretty much the only way the AUG's getting played, because no one's really going to be playing that on IQ for the most part.
Pretty much the case right now. There's INTZ trying to put in pressure from the main skylight there, and IQ spraying on down, potentially finding someone inside of the hallway, but no, it seems like FaZe are just going to be snicking around, flicking between those cameras, and using every single bit of utility possible. As I say that, though, there's the Habana, first one down. That's the Mav out. That's Mav out. So, yeah, there goes the Nitro Cell to boot from Astro. And it's going to be forced away. The flashbang is in, and Duds want to try to peek this. He's got the Habana to help him out on the ingress, and they know exactly where to go for it. The Mozzie should be flashed, and there's a double flash. Perfect timing for the Ash. And Duds going to collect, looking for one more, and he's going to get him. That's Ion down. INTZ looking for even more down in yellow, as Yuna will only be helped by the fact that the Ash ran out of ammo in the moment. Man, this is a great start.
Yeah, they definitely put a lot of pressure on that projector and took that out very, very quickly. Big problem I'm seeing though is they have a Mozzie, and they all 10 drones are still being allowed to be in. No one's doing anything about it. You saw drones sitting behind Mozzie the whole time, uncontested. One sitting in connector as well. Just their inability to stop the intel coming out from the attackers here is really hurting FaZe. They need to do something about that, because you look at this, they're just walking around getting the kills. Well, at least one traded by Yuna, but otherwise, very, very dominant round from INTZ. FaZe doing almost nothing to stop the intel game other than bringing their own cameras. What was the point of bringing Mozzie if you're not slowing them down even? Maybe they need a mute on top of it.
Exactly. The whole thing was, I mean, they brought the mute. That's the big question in it.
But you didn't see the drones being stopped by either the mute or the Mozzie. So where was the placement on those?
Exactly. That's the big question. If you're going to play with squishy operators, quote unquote, you're going to need to make sure that you're not droned. And you saw it when you're losing your flank watcher, you're going to be pushed. That was the Mozzie that was playing solo now inside projector. He didn't have anyone to support him as he just lost his teammate. So yeah, it's a complicated situation to say the least, and you're going to get taken out eventually. You're not going to be able to fight against it. You're going to be cornered in yellow, and you're going to get shot down. So if anything, this was INTZ just knowing exactly how to break FaZe in that setup. But now FaZe are changing things a tiny bit inside of the Mozzie that are going to be bringing the fight here on Astro, understanding the fact that they banned the Thatcher, so they can use that to their advantage, slow things down. If they play the similar lineup where, okay, we're going to hold on to this top floor and bathroom and in piano for as long as possible, then it's definitely a strategy that could work well.
I did like to see the coordination on INTZ. For example, when they pushed the projector in the last round, you had one on the window, and then you had the Ash coming around on the top of Isa's stairs as well at the same time, set up for a trade. And that is part of the reason we've seen INTZ do so well this season, is their coordination's really there. Obviously, that's going to be tested on trying to get the plant down here on this particular site on Garage, because it does require quite a bit in terms of making sure that you're able to get your man in for the plant. And they're not bringing a ton of utility to necessarily help with that, to be able to make sure that he's able to be covered. So they're going to have to coordinate well, especially if they go for any kind of pinches, go for this top-down clear, make sure that they're able to pressure all the players down, as well as dealing with the Electric Claw without a Thatcher.
I mean, you can go and kind of try to find a tiny angle if you hold on to piano, right? If you put that Electro Claw correctly, there's one side and the other of the actual garage door where you can lay it, and it's so difficult to destroy it. You might need to time a grenade correctly, maybe to bounce it over and destroy it, right? So there are ways to take it down, but it requires you to take map control, and that's the entire strategy that FaZe are kind of playing right now. However, they did drop their Jaeger down into the break room and pretty much playing in servers. VNX is going to continue to drone, and right now we're just trying to find picks, trying to find some angles, but this might be INTZ deciding to forego piano, forego garage, and just go for a take, well, from servers area. They only have a Habana here, so it's not like it's the easiest operator to use.
I gotta say, this is definitely an opportunity where they could have brought the Cali, because not only would you be able to help open the garage with that, dealing with that Electric Claw, but also you'd be in a good position to snipe into the garage to help cover the plant, which is definitely, with the power of that sniper rifle, very, very effective at doing that. But We'll see if that ends up becoming a thing at some point. They are using the Hibana to actually open up angles in the meantime, rather than working on the garage door. I have a feeling this is going to be pushed down from spiral stairs in a cafeteria take if they can successfully clear out this bathroom here, which they're really burning a lot of time doing with only about a minute or so left to actually make this happen.
How do you push this shotgun? You need grenades. It's up to VNX to help, and you need to burn ADSs in the back. There's the grenade, and it's going to be well timed. C4 is going to sail out. And unfortunately, it's not going to do anything there. The grenade only taking Unit down to around 55 HP. Second grenade being prepped with a flashbang in. Drunks is going to find Yuna, and there's it finally cleared. Devin, though, 41 seconds left. That is not
so much utility burned as well. That was really inefficient. Really. I mean, great job by Yuna. Honestly, his death was totally worth it at that point.
Yeah, he's done his job, basically surviving. There's the Electro Claw finally found. That's a strategy that was worked, but it doesn't matter. You're not going to be entering through garage anymore. The Jaeger's going to keep peeking around and wasting time.
Well, they're definitely going for the push here if they can get it going. The 17 seconds, I don't see this working unless they start getting a lot more kills.
Alamao is going to be stopped for just a second here, but it's going to rush through the smoke that's already been used. Going for the plant right at the side of the white van, but nobody can support him. In the meantime, it's Astro and Mav. They're going to find a kill each, and it's all over as the fuser is not set. FaZe Clan will take the W, as unfortunately, it seems like INTZ have had control, but then lost it just because of time.
And that's the thing is Yuna burning all that time and utility. That won the round right there. That is why you see so much dedicated to the bathroom, because how impactful that bathroom could be on that take, especially when they weren't really well set up to take the garage door. I know this is a region where they'll be like, oh, we don't open hard walls, we go around them. That seemed like a bit of a mistake that round. That really kind of cost them a lot in terms of making that push when they totally could have made it happen had they been able to open that garage door and push in. Thermite's not banned. They can clear that electrical. As you said, it's tricky, but it's doable. But the amount of effort they expended and just the failure, honestly, to clear out Yuna in the bathroom. They had all of the positions around them. They had grenades. They had cleared ADS. That was just a big oof by VNX to not be able to kill him with a grenade when he couldn't even move in the room. How do you fail that grenade throw? That was really what cost them right there. They should have killed him much earlier. They should have been able to clear ADSs much sooner. It's not like he was Jaeger and they're able to juggle the ADSs or anything. It was really just a big fat failure on INTZ's part to clear out the bathroom there. Hopefully we won't see a repeat of that, but good on FaZe to be able to pull that off. Really just burning enough time. Now they're going to be playing a trickier spot, though. This is still about burning time to some extent. I mean, this is where Mirror becomes somewhat useful. Interesting position, though, to be able to play it to see inside that little stock room there. We'll see how useful that ends up being, but it's definitely about having a good front down there so they can have maybe one or two people hold down in archives as necessary. But this is definitely going to be a difficult defense because, of course, the aggression here means you really, once you start to lose control of the middle floor, it's going to be difficult to take it back unless you have players up top uncontested.
Definitely. So INTZ just need to focus on not being baited into wasting so much time like they were in the last round, right? So the whole setup of bringing Castle Barricade, you're bringing Mute Mossy, bringing Valkyrie and Mira to give yourself as much info as possible. I mean, you could exchange the Mira, maybe put in a Pulse, or instead of the Valkyrie, you can bring the Pulse. But I think that lineup that FaZe is bringing right now is perfect for drawing out as much time as humanly possible. And at least you have the IQ to maybe help you destroying all this utility. Maybe this was the thing that actually helped out INTZ in the very first round, dealing with everything that FaZe Clan had already set up, right?
Yeah, we'll see how this ends up shaking down because FaZe already at an advantage getting the kill onto the Hibana. I'm not sure how many X-Kairos were left, but they're certainly not going to help down. That means Castle Barricade's a little bit more secure as they're not bringing a Zofia, which is odd to see a team not. You know, the Ashe is not too terribly uncommon, but generally you see a lot more of the Zofia being played in more just as a fragging role overall and more utility, especially when you're having to deal with a lot more ADSs and things like Wamai. So I'm not sure that that was the best choice, especially now that they're lacking in some utility to help clear out some of these castle barricades as necessary. Although, to be fair, depending on map control that you get, you can actually use them to your advantage to help block out some of the defenders.
Yeah, and this is something that some pros were saying, like, you know, sometimes when I see a castle barricade, if I'm on the attack, I actually feel comfortable because I can kind of be safe around them. So it's something to keep in mind potentially, but now you want to pull those defenders down lower and lower back onto site. Astro somehow surviving. Oh my god, the C's at 75. It's just a tiny bit more damage through the wall would have been enough. By the way, that is not a suppressor on the Vector. It's an extended barrel. It's how it is apparently. Vitz is going to take down Ion in the meantime and try to equalize things, but it was only the Castle. Castle's so great now at creating rotations and working that Sim City, preparing the site with that secondary super shorty. Vitz is going to take a tiny bit of damage there from a Nitro Cell, but that's utility expended with no return. The most difficult part of attacking this site, though, Devin, how do you go and plant? There's so many angles being watched. Dunsto will find Mav, and they're all going to try to push in, but it's not working. I say that, though. Nitro Master will connect, and Alamau will be taken down. Perfectly baited, though. And there's the time to plant. 12 seconds left. Go safe. Do they have information? There's no Maestro to give that sort of info for the defense, but they have shotgun secondaries that they can use. Live a bit too slow here, but he'll be able to catch Vitz off. Duds, the second one to fall. Yuna, he's got 2 more teammates to help him. Astro and Live. Any grenades? Yes, VNX has 2 of them. He should be able to find a kill through here. The grenade will bounce and will give information over the position. It'll actually do a bit of damage, but there's the run up from Yuna. That'll confirm the round for FaZe Clan, and it was all well timed. The Buck had so much to watch, and there were no flank drones to give him info.
And that was definitely, again, a very slow round for INTZ in terms of trying to make that push actually happen. They really struggled with that, trying to get the map control that they needed. Also, getting one early pick onto them from FaZe definitely didn't help in terms of manpower advantage being lost early on. But the big problem for me is they didn't really do much to contest the bottom floor, which is where a lot of the kills came from. This is a region that does very well with C4s. They had, I imagine, a black eye somewhere to help give them the intel, because you did see a ping come out, for example, to help the C4. And a nice bait from INTZ, but at the end of the day, they just didn't have enough manpower left because of those early picks to be able to guard it. You saw the one player upstairs trying to watch it from above, just like Duds was as well. They were just trying to play a lot of this top down, which is not a bad thing. But they needed more people to be able to play that. They needed pressure downstairs in the basement to try and make them have to watch their flanks a little bit instead of being able to stare straight at the ceiling, C4 in hand, just waiting for the ping to be called out. So definitely good on FaZe, though. They're definitely playing time a lot better. They're playing map control quite a bit better these last 2 rounds, making the first round almost start to look like a fluke. But now they're going to go back to lobby, so we'll see. Was that a fluke, or is this just really actually the worst site for FaZe? Ironically enough, their primary site.
So I'm trying to look at this like, what's the big change, right? It's bringing the Rook instead of the Wamai. It seemed like it really had no effect on the round, and maybe FaZe understand this, that hey, if we put one player inside a bathroom or in top of yellow stairs with an ACOG, that might be something that can support a player that's sitting inside a projector. So maybe that's the big play. And in this case, it's going back to how you play the site in standard, right?
Yeah. This is, I mean, I really would like to see FaZe deny some of those drones this time. You can definitely see some of the lighting changes there. It has definitely seemed like a lot of the lights are kind of off for some reason. So hopefully that's something that can get adjusted, but I'm sure the players will adjust to it as quickly as they can. In terms of, I mean, you still see well enough, so. But again, I hope the drones start getting spotted. You brought the Mute Mozzie still. It just comes down to the placement. Like you said, the Wamai wasn't a huge impact last time. They didn't necessarily throw a lot, for example, into the meeting room. They just ended up going guns blazing quite a bit. So I think Yuna being on the Rook could be a pretty good change if they're able to, stay alive with that extra armor, for example, or take advantage of the ACOG. Right now, you have the ACOG being utilized to be able to fight down long desk, which is pretty much the primary use for it on this map.
Look at this.
I don't know how long he's going to be able to do it.
Look at this. Someone did not put on their Rook armor. This is Pro League, people. It happens in every game. Honestly, it happens even in Pro League. So don't be as harsh on your people in casual games, please. Thank you very much.
Honestly, setups in Pro League are very long and take a lot of time, and you just generally can't afford to come back to the
the shotty!
Nice push. So close.
Can he go around? There's one more flashbang being used in here, as actually I don't think the Dokebi is running any grenades here, only flashbangs. Astro's going to be pulled back for just a second. It might be dropping, but it'll be taken down by VNX, holding down at the top of Soda. And it was very well done here for him to just stay back and wait for information from Copy and Break Room. Maybe the walk in, there's the ACOG being used, but Yuna's going to be dropped down to 50% HP. Duz is walking around here by long desk, and he'll miss as the rotation from the Rook will come through down from yellow. And at least it's one player down for FaZe Clan. This is how it all started before in the very first round.
Now they just need to speed things up a little bit. I mean, 50 or so seconds is not too bad. But they really need to start getting map control a little bit faster. They at least have control of the top floor, which is the essential part, to be able to make sure that they're able to pressure downwards. But now they've got to put pressure on the middle floor and try and get some flanks going. They've got all these players pent up in piano and bathroom. You've got one player, as you can see at the top of Spiral Stairs here, VNX, just going for slow flank. Gotta be quiet. He is quiet enough. There goes Ion. So now huge man advantage 5-3, but it gets traded by Yuna. This is the problem here, is that piano, they're starting to clear it out. Totally doable here for INTZ.
Oh, look at the Nitro Cell sailing out. It won't go. Oh, no! That's not the one. Live, go for it. It's in default. Go for it. Now you got 2 seconds. It's saved. Live with a 2K. This is going to keep FaZe in contention. Duds is trying to go for plant here. No, he's not. He's okay. He's able to set it down. A bit of a bug there on our observer feed, but yeah, he's alive. Diffuser's already been set. There you go. It's going to keep on refreshing that diffuser plant. And at least the Valkyrie has been spotted in the meantime. You got to go and take that diffuser out in default. Where's the Ash looking? Duds is looking away from all of this. His map's gonna get the kill. There's the Nomad trap that's gonna be engaged, and it's all onto Drunks to keep on watching. He's got default on hold. He's gonna take a lot of damage to himself. 5 seconds left before you cannot work on this diffuser anymore. They just have to keep him back. He's gonna find the kill, and that should be more than enough for it. Mav has no time for it. Yeah, it's all done. Focused on the kill, unable to cover his teammate. It happens, but INTZ hold on by just a sliver of HP, and Habana's gonna win it all out at the end.
That was definitely a tricky situation, and honestly, that C4 kill onto the planter early on from, I believe, Live, that almost was enough right there to stop things from happening. But the fact that they were able to get the plant down regardless, just not enough coverage, too many men lost, really, for FaZe. What was interesting to me, too, is changing out the Wamai had a bit of a negative effect on the Mozzie play. But that wasn't completely exploited by INTZ. So, for example, what I mean by that is previously inside meeting, Mozzie was able to have a shield there because Wamai was able to bring one. That last time, because he wasn't able to bring a shield, he was a little bit more exposed, but they didn't pressure him from the window. They had 2 men stacked up on Visa stairs instead, which then gave the Mozzie a little bit more fighting power. Ultimately, he still died, but it was interesting to see that it didn't get completely capitalized on for the operator change. But either way, we'll see how Garage goes again. This was a bit of a struggle as well for INTZ last round, although we're at 2-2, so both teams doing pretty good here. But the fact that INTZ have won both times on FaZe's, in theory, best bomb site is interesting, kind of a reversal of things, whereas FaZe are winning primarily on their second and third bomb sites, assuming the order is based on their preference, which it generally is for most teams.
Bomb located by attackers.
So again, back down to the Garage. And yeah, we're probably going to see the same lineup here from FaZe Clan. They're bringing the COD again. The Wamai. Did they bring the Wamai for Garage last time? I don't think so. Right? I think, yeah, they brought a Valkyrie for this one, right?
Yeah, that would be pretty helpful, but I guess the Wamai is really going to help in terms of making sure there's a few positions they can't get naded out of. Primarily going to be bathroom, right? So let's say you know they're going to try and nade the guy in bathroom. You can then throw Wamai discs up into the bathroom to make sure that they can't continue to clear it. So you stick some ADSs in there first to help hold Yuna in there, assuming he's going to be playing that again. And then you have the ability, assuming the hatch is open, to just toss discs up.
Basically. So that's usually the great play to do, and this is something, of course, one of the first times we get to see Wamai being played on Consulate. So these sorts of strategies are ones that will be evolving over time as the operator just got introduced into Pro League. As with all operators that are brought into the game, there's at least a 3-month trial period to see, like, hey, is there anything to change? How's the meta gonna be like? And then they'll be brought in. They run out though. There's a TCSG even with a red dot sight. Astra's gonna find the kill. VNX is down. And yeah, that is a huge chart for FaZe Clan, even with INTZ being so proactive early on in this round to try and pressure their opponents.
I like this opening of the hatch, though, to give themselves a different way to play down there, to be able to rotate down towards archives. He's actually droning as well, so it looks like they might be looking for an opportunity to try and sneak their way in, but losing the buck early on is definitely going to make this harder. I don't know how much effort they're going to put on the bathroom here, but you see them at least going for the X-Kairos to start to pressure it. There we go. Yuna, though, already landing a C4 kill, so he's more than done his job this round. This is very much looking like a FaZe round, given how it went down last time.
And Mew Jammers are blocking the X-Kairos in the meantime. This is not looking good at all. When you're bringing both a Thermite and a Hibana, this is all about trying to push from Garage. This is the change that INTZ is going for. And right now, they're unable to even do anything when it comes to the bathroom itself. You're just going to stand back, you're going to confuse your opponents, and you're going to drain time. You have a shotgun. Perfect range here for Yuna to try to use it. And there's the shot. Alamo is going to be taken down. Might be time to rotate out of the site here, but it's going to get shot in the back. We're just a bit lying on the floor. Help Yuna, but not for long. Vitz is finally going to find the kill. With 2 players left versus 4, a ton of utility for FaZe Clan. You're gonna have to drop in and go for kills whenever.
Yuna won the round again, basically.
Basically, yeah.
Well done. You see my disc is well being placed up top on the garage in a way that helps if the garage door gets open, but also helps if it get thrown from the upstairs. But nice plays down in cafeteria. At the end of the day, though, it's FaZe eating INTZ alive there. Nice set of kills. Smoke and Mute doing some work that round. Between Yuna and Live. I'm not sure who got the first kill, I don't remember, but Yuna and Live definitely doing some serious work after that.
Honestly, Yuna is just so good at being a thorn in people's side. Whatever game FaZe is playing, he's always someone that you just have to look out for, and you really have to hunt. Even in the cases where he's literally in there, in the open, and you know exactly where he is and how to deal with him, he's going to find a way to make sure that he's making you pay for every step you take close to him.
Yeah. It's good to see Wamai coming out so much as well from this region. I like the idea of the Clash combined with Wamai. The reason being, one of the things you're going to do to try and help deal with Clash is use some of those throwables to try and kind of corral the Clash. And they're not bringing a Zofia, they're not bringing a Capita, they don't have any direct counters, so that they're likely to use those or possibly an air jab. But the Wamai discs will actually help pull those away from the Clash player. So, I mean, it's not the strongest thing in the world, but it is definitely something that can help. They've also got that deployable shield now coming out from Astro. So we'll see how they hold here on Consulate. This is actually their first time going to Consulate, or Console rather, which is interesting because Lobby, again, was their primary, but they've been struggling with it and lost it both times they played it. So they're instead going to go, you know what? We're doing okay at defending the top floor if we could dedicate all our manpower there. So that's exactly what they're going to do, and I think this is a good choice. I likely see FaZe coming out in the half 4-2.
5 seconds remaining.
I mean, 4-2 at the half, you're playing on defense on the map, you know. The bans are working kind of in your favor if you're the attackers. You don't have a Thatcher, you don't have a Capital. Obviously, this is a lot of utility being taken away from you, but it's kind of metagame. But having both Maestro and Echo removed, it's still being able to play so proactively, either off-site or on-site itself. FaZe Clan are making their best out of it. And as you say, if you come out 4-2 at the half, you're looking pretty for FaZe.
Yeah, I think overall, it should be pretty good. But attacking is, honestly, generally difficult in this game. You have to react to what the defenders are doing. You don't get to dictate the pace of things as much. So because of that, it's not a huge surprise to go up in defense. We've talked about that before. And this map can actually be really defender-sided when defenders are very aggressive and getting away with it. But oddly enough, really, that's not been FaZe's modus operandi. It's been them being able to delay adequately or pick off lone players of INTZ who are getting caught off guard. Now with their ability to dedicate so much manpower upstairs and then a few roams, if FaZe could do a good job at least stopping some of these drones, which, again, they've only killed one drone so far, it could work. But I would like to see them, again, stop some of these drones. INTZ taking down Ion, though. Good start. Vitz has actually been doing pretty good on the Snowman.
Yeah, I mean, he's been able to at least zone the players away from FaZe, but Live just sticking onto the side is going to be able to find one. Bit of an engagement there between Astro and Duds, the Wamai and the Ash. And just checking around the corner here. What's the point for Diago? Just delaying as long as humanly possible. You're getting information. You're taking a bit of damage, though. And there's turnaround. Keratos is going to be more than enough. Pistol kill around the corner. Duds is down. this is FaZe Clan trying to bring this one down as Astro's had enough. He's like, you know what? The AUG is not the greatest gun in the world, but the Keratos is going to be more than enough for the finisher. Yuna's going to get one more, and Duds will take a lot of damage, but at least he'll be taken down. And as long as the Clash is alive, you can do a lot of work, and Drunk's going to run right into the smoke alive. It's perfectly set. Now it's VNX on his own. FaZe Clan are sitting pretty for this round, and it all started so well for INTZ.
Yeah, definitely good early picks, but the problem is you've got to deal with a lot of these players that they're just not really able to contain. They're not bringing any utility to help contain them outside of the Nomad air jabs because the phone calls aren't really doing a whole lot for them when they're really more relying on their drones anyways. And again, they don't have anything to deal with the Clash here. Now, I believe that was a 6th pick, so they weren't necessarily prepared for it. But still, you see VNX pretty much just wasting time here at this point, looking the wrong way, but that was a lost cause. It didn't really matter too much. But now we switch sides, so we get to see, will FaZe be able to attack as well as they were able to defend? I mean, really, FaZe only lost one site. They played all 4 sites and only lost on lobby twice. And that's pretty good to be able to play 3 sites successfully. It's sort of the tour, but in a weird way because they had to, play some of the other sites because they lost one of them.
Yeah, I mean, right now, Consulate is definitely a bit darker. I don't know if you feel it too, but...
Smooth lighting.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely lighting like a European movie, and it's got to be super slow at some point, and someone's going to go and drink a bottle of wine on the porch with all, black and white around them as they're
You're reminding me of I primarily watch NA movies.
Which are just face checking or what?
Yeah.
Basically. I mean, let's be honest. If you were to put it into reality, face checking, NA movies would be like Michael Bay movies. Come on.
Yeah, pretty much. Well, we'll see pretty much the same setup to some extent from INTZ. They're going to start with Garage as their primary. Interestingly enough, they're bringing Legion and with a bulletproof camera. So they're foregoing impacts altogether. They've got the super shorty as well as the shotgun of Mute to help make holes as needed. And then Mozzie's actually bringing barbed wire instead of C4. So some odd choices in terms of secondary utility. But nonetheless, we'll see how they work out for them. Having the bulletproof camera does make some sense when you've lost Maestro. You really want visibility. I imagine it's going to be potentially set up for the Garage to be able to watch for the plant on White Van. Which you never know. I didn't necessarily see exactly where it was placed. You just see some pests also being set up in the console office for anyone trying to approach from that side. Is some teams will enter from console office instead of admin when they're taking very top floor here for a push down onto the Garage. But it varies from team to team here, so we'll see if they lose any drones to that. But it didn't really cost him much. He gets 3 pests, so it's worth sticking them on the windows, knowing that they're almost always going to take from the top down one of the sides. But you do see someone watching here, the admin window. They are approaching from multiple windows, though. Bullet holes.
Bulletproof holes would be amazing.
Bulletproof holes, yeah. They feel like
that's the next step.
Sometimes. There we go. Nice attempt. Good drone kill as well.
At least you get away with something here. Zofia Red Dot is the new strategy. There's a lot of Red Dot play here, a lot of Fox A inspiration.
At least they're bringing Zofia. I really question why INTZ didn't.
I mean, look, so far, though, FaZe have lost 5 drones. Half of their drones are lost, and the other 5 are being deployed, and now there's only 4 left. You can see those with the dots on your side in the screen. If it's an X, it means that the drone's been destroyed. If it's gray, it means that it's been deployed. And if that dot is white, it means that it's in the back pocket or in reverse. I don't know.
Yeah, assuming it's been accurate, INTZ are doing a much better job denying drones.
Basically.
And that means INTZ were also doing a better job droning because they weren't sacrificing a lot of their drones. Maybe unnecessarily because you see all those drones dead and they have yet to lead to a single kill and barely any damage done. So overall, drone-wise, complete failure here for FaZe.
Yeah, I think that's a pretty good way of putting it. So big spread here from INTZ. They're going all around this area here, just trying to nitro sell their opponent's drunks. A long shot with the Commando will find live. There's the first pick, and it works so well now for INTZ. It leaves FaZe with only 3 drones again, and 4 players with full utility pretty much left on INTZ.
Overall, this is looking really good for INTZ. FaZe's attack seems really kind of weak in general. Their drone economy was poor. They're not going to be able to do much with what they have left, utility-wise as well, but at least they're able to clear off what they need to. However, neither of these teams is even putting much effort into opening the garage door. They don't care, and that's making their attacks very predictable.
Reloading!
So there's Zofia close to finding the kill, but no, the Maz is going to run away. He's going to stay alive for just a bit longer.
They did get the garage door open, though, so kudos to them. But as they do that, they lose another player, at least trading one onto INTZ.
Oh, there's the flashbangs being thrown in. You're going to walk in, and yeah, there's nobody around the side anymore. The Zofia spraying, trying to delay the defenders, and Mav's going to find a big kill on LMAO. This is going to allow Yuna to plant. And 2v3 in this situation, it's possible. Yuna's going to make it even more possible of finding one more kill of his own. Turning around to check yellow, but he's got his teammate around the corner. A great headshot onto VNX, and another one. Yuna's going to hit them all today. The man is on fire.
Part of me wonders if the slow push from FaZe, just INTZ fell asleep. Because it looked like at the very end there, they were just, the fingers weren't on the triggers. FaZe should not have won that. Like, they really should not have. Yes, they opened the garage door. That was something that we didn't see come out from INTZ on their attacks. But FaZe were down man. They didn't have a lot of intel. They didn't know where the positioning of the players. Yes, you know them to some extent where they're going to be playing at. But there was just almost no response from INTZ. It's like they were taking a nap during the plant. The bulletproof camera was up the entire time during the plant because you saw Yuna shooting it after he was done planting. The fact that he was able to get those 2 picks at the very end, you saw that slow reaction time. It's almost like, I don't know if they were arguing over comms or someone was, really distracting them, because that just looked like they just completely fell asleep at the end of that round. But hey, kudos to FaZe on pulling that off. They really shouldn't have, but INTZ really got to step it up now because they're 1 round away from match point.
One round away. It's working well for FaZe Clan, and this is something that I don't know if a lot of people remember this, but back in the day, FaZe Clan were this kind of team that start off super slow. They'll find a pick, and then they immediately drop everything that they're doing, and you're gonna feel that the round has become even slower than it was before, and then suddenly clamp down, get a plant, get kills, and end it within 10 seconds.
So they're actually going to try Archives Tellers, which is an interesting switch up instead of trying Garage again. I mean, we'll see if this ends up working for them. Just based off that last round, I would think at least they'd be able to do a better job of making this more difficult just because of the lack of intel from FaZe. But at the same time, at least they brought a pulse, and I think that's a good thing here. We didn't see that come out from FaZe on their defense of Archives Tellers. The pulse really helps, especially when you've got the Black Eyes and the pulse, to be able to provide that extra intel. Not only that, but you've got the Legion Goo Mines could also provide intel on when to be able to trigger a C4, depending how they play it. So I like the lineup overall from INTZ for this bomb site a lot, especially since the Mute Mozzie combo and denying drones. You already see 2 drones dead from FaZe as well. So this totally, again, should be very, very winnable for INTZ. But FaZe just, I don't know, when their thermites fragging out, you got to wonder what's happening gunpower-wise from INTZ last round.
Yep. Well, how much is that pulse going to bring you? That's a big question. At least you have the Legion. Between the Legion and the pulse and the Valkyrie, you're going to be able to get a lot of info. You're denying a lot by having the Mutant Mossy. So, again, in theory, what INTZ are bringing is very correct. It is very much the current metagame. So it's understandable. It makes a lot of sense. More drones are being used up and demolished there for FaZe. So you got to be careful about that. More nitro cells also will be missing and no damage will be done. It seems like FaZe are just running away at the perfect time there and taking no damage in the meantime.
Well, a lot of utility being expended to some extent here in terms of getting things cleared out. But again, look at the amount of drones that have died on FaZe. We see most of the players at least having lost 1 drone, with the exception of Mav. Oh, and we got Mute Jam on the sound as well.
Oh, boy. Yeah, well,
it's so powerful.
He's literally muting the stream here. All right, are we going to have to do these noises again? You keep casting, I'll make the noises.
Right.
Cluck, cluck,
well, we do have Yuna actually looking to see if he can get opportunities, but this is a lot of top-down control attempts, trying to find picks, seeing if they could catch someone off. But all they've done is really actually force a lot of the players INTZ into more secure positions. They're going to open up the hatch here, though, inside Visa to be able to try and push downwards. They're also calling for another hatch to be open. Really, they're just looking to continue to put downward pressure without having to go downstairs themselves. In the meantime, Live does pick up Duds. He tries to go for another one, but Vitz is there to trade it off. So now man advantage really for FaZe here at the moment, especially with the plant going down. Eunice going for the stick. Trades coming out here. LMA able to get one onto Astro. We do have the diffuser down now, so this is totally doable for FaZe to be able to hold this off, especially Ion picking up Alameo. I have VNX going for play as well, getting shot up pretty bad. Mav getting one on him, though. Drunks, in the meantime, picks up Yuna. So now all down to Drunks. He is upstairs, though. He's going to have to try and rotate down. He's just got to fight two players, Mav and Ion, at nearly full health each. Drunks himself at least with full health, but 3 goo mines in his pocket. Unfortunately, all you could get is 5 damage out of those if you throw it at them, and there's no initial damage anymore. So diffuser counting down here. He's going to run out of time shortly. Looks the wrong way. Surprisingly survives it and gets the pick onto Ion, but now he's going to rotate around. I don't think he has any time left to defuse. This is just going to be an impactless frag at best. And there we go. FaZe winning the round. Very nicely done. A lot of good top-down control.
All right, well, let's see if we'll need a rehost for this one.
I would think we probably will.
Yeah, it's all about our admins calling it or observing.
Yeah. There's a little bit of relay on the communication, though, because we've got to communicate that to Latin America, so may or may not get that rehost.
Is Marcio observing this or not?
I would imagine not.
I think it is Marcio, yeah.
Oh, okay.
He posted something on his Twitter about it, so...
Ooh.
I guess Marcio has learned how to speak Portuguese.
Wow. He's so talented.
I mean, he barely speaks English, but there it is.
There you go. Well,
sorry, Marcio, by the way.
It's not like Portuguese and English have that much in common, so.
Same thing. Tomato.
Yeah. Well, we'll see the Wumai come out here from INTZ now. So they're going to be playing console. So they're playing things definitely differently in a different order than we saw from FaZe. We saw FaZe sticking with lobby first, going to console when it was last resort, using Archives Tellers as kind of a extra site they could play to throw things off. Whereas we're seeing it very different from INTZ. They started Garage, then they went Archives Tellers immediately after, and now they're going console. They are at a pretty big disadvantage here points-wise, though, with FaZe now being on match point, and INTZ going to have to get 4 in a row to tie it. Honestly, the way things have been going, I don't see that happening, but I think we'll likely possibly see a 7-3. This is a good bomb site to be able to defend for them, I think, especially with the Wamai and Jaeger in play to be able to stop a lot of the throwables. They can hold a lot more securely, a lot more manpower upstairs. You also saw the extra deployable shield to help them to be able to fight admin. This is very doable here. They do have the mute, but not the Mozzie to go with him. That is a difference that we saw versus the way FaZe would kind of use that Mozzie for top floor control as well.
And there's all drones being set up by FaZe Clan. Again, the best that INTZ can get is 1 round at the end of this one. So that ain't good, to say the least. FaZe Clan, as I said at the beginning, we were talking about this in the pregame. It's about getting W's. If you want to make it to the top 2 of the region, you still get a huge boost in cash prize at the end of it, even with the event finals being cancelled. But yeah, it's working so far so well for FaZe Clan with the change. Cameraman or no cameraman, they're doing well. INTZ are struggling to keep this in check. FaZe is going to waste no time, though, pressuring from the top floor, realizing that, hey, we're going to go all the way down. Might as well put some pressure, catch people off in yellow. You know, it's the strategy as usual. Burning ADSs. The Wamai is a good addition to this one. So I'm really curious because in this case, the Capitao was banned, but what people might forget is that Wamai also catches those crossbow bullets from Capitao, and it might help later on. Live's gonna find Drunks and another one! Duds failing on the rotation from Garage back up. That's 2 free kills for FaZe Clan.
Yeah, this really should be happening. Yellow Stair should be really hard to contest right now with Wamai in play. It definitely is being a bit of a problem, but Live with 3 kills on Yellow Stairs alone, doing very good for his team, and picking up... Oh, Ion was managed to get that one, but Live gets the last one there, I think. A 4K from him. So overall, Live, I think a good addition to the team, and proved it that last round.
Honestly, this was FaZe Clan just at the helm the whole time. 7-2 is no easy feat. And, you know, they started off on defense, had 4 rounds in there, 3 in a row. I mean, FaZe Clan looked a bit shaky in the beginning, I have to say. But maybe, as you mentioned before, that first round might have been a fluke in some way.
Yeah, I mean, it's weird that the only 2 rounds that INTZ won were those attacks onto the primary site lobby. That's all it seemed INTZ was really